You see, because of the bloody persecution by the Catholic Church during the Dark Ages, Protestants and people who sought and wanted to worship God according to their conscience, without the state and the church dictating what and how they should worship, they fled from the old world, Europe, to the new world, America, to start life all over again. And this desire to be free from the old world was what they were so eager that the American Revolutionary War broke out. And these founding fathers wrote the Constitution, where they saw and understood that the freedom of religion is so central and vital for a working, healthy society and a country that they decided that religious liberty would be the First Amendment. And we know this well-known amendment where it says that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. You see, this is the beautiful thought of separation of church and state. While the phrase separation of church and state is not in the Constitution, the thought and the concept is. And this constitutional principle, the separation of church and state, according to legal scholars, has given Americans more religious freedom than any people in world history. Around the globe, those suffering under the heavy heel of government-sponsored religious oppression, they look at America's church-state model with longing. And this wall of separation between church and state is America's bulwark of true religious liberty. I believe what makes America great is religious freedom. And we need to recognize that America did not create religious freedom, but instead religious freedom created America. And so the question is, how can the Pope, the religious leader, please let me point this out to you clearly, the Pope, the religious leader for the Catholic Church, speak to the Congress where decisions are being taken and laws are being legislated? How can the Pope speak at a place where lawmakers of the country are being assembled together? You see, the Pope, whether we like it or not, whether it will happen or not, can, and I believe have a great opportunity to influence these lawmakers to make laws and policies that would greatly benefit the intentions of the Catholic Church. You may say, well, since the Pope is not only a religious leader, as you know, Sebastian, but he is also a political leader, he has all the right to speak there. Well, yeah, but the problem is still this, that the Pope is not visiting the US and the Congress primarily as the head of the Vatican State, but as the moral voice of the world. The reason the Pope has become the moral voice of the world is not because he is the head of the Vatican State, but because he is a religious figure and a religious leader. And let me also point this out, that the House of the Representative, Speaker Boehner, does not refer to the Pope as the head of the Vatican State, but refers to the Pope as His Holiness. And he emphasizes that the Pope is the first Pope ever visiting the US Congress. Now, why the first? Because up to this point, the wall of separation of church and state has been so highly respected, but lately it's about to come down. And what is even more disturbing is that it was Boehner and Nancy Pelosi, two Catholics, who invited the Pope to speak to the Congress. By inviting Pope Francis to speak to the Congress, what has been done is that the importance of separation of church and state has diminished and lessened severely. I want people to understand this, that I am not against the possibility for the Pope to express himself. The Pope can express himself however, wherever, and whatever he wants to express. However, what I'm against, though, is for the Pope to speak to the Congress where laws are being legislated, and that the US government is wholeheartedly showing preference for Catholicism over every other religion and non-religion. But you say, where's this going to lead? Now that's a tremendous question. My question is this: are we now going to have one religious leader after another, bishop, cardinals, pastors, popes, of course, rabbis, and even imams, addressing lawmakers to make certain policies that may infringe and deprive the rights of the people? While this thought can be easily shaken off as non-essential, the decision has already been made. The Pope will visit the Congress, and he is going to speak to them, and the question is valid that I'm posing right now. If one can, why not the rest? If no other religious figure will and can speak to the Congress because of what the Constitution says, except the Pope now, then this is hypocrisy from the politicians in Washington, because Catholicism is openly favored over other religions. Invite everybody to speak or invite nobody. It's as simple as that. And that is why it is interesting, going back 55 years from now, when Senator John F. Kennedy in 1960, he was a known Catholic politician, and he addressed the Greater Houston Ministerial Association, and he mentioned separation of church and state, and we can clearly see how times have changed.
I believe in an America where the separation of church and state is absolute, where no Catholic prelate would tell the president, should he be Catholic, how to act, and no Protestant minister would tell his parishioners for whom to vote, where no church or church school is granted any public funds or political preference, and where no man is denied public office merely because his religion differs from the president who might appoint him or the people who might elect him. I believe in an America that is officially neither Catholic, Protestant, nor Jewish, where no public official either requests or accepts instructions on public policy from the Pope, the National Council of Churches, or any other ecclesiastical source, where no religious body seeks to impose its will, directly or indirectly, upon the general populace or the public acts of its officials, and where religious liberty is so indivisible that an act against one church is treated as an act against all.